It's a just give me a second. Okay. Yeah. So hi.
Hi, sis. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. How are
Yeah,
you? How are you?
fine. I'm
Yeah.
fine. And
Thank
you
you
too?
for taking care of the technical issues we had at the beginning. I really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Okay. So thank you. So guys, if you I think people will start to join us later, but we can just just continue. You can drop your comment in the comment section if you have any comment, and let me just put it on. Let me just share again on. Let me just share again on what's it called now on WhatsApp so that people will know that we are live. Can you see me and hear me clearly? Josh, can you see me and
Yes.
hear me clearly?
Okay.
Okay. I think
Yes, we can.
okay.
Wonderful.
So this is my first time. Okay, good. Thank you. So this is my first time of actually doing a YouTube live on YouTube. Okay, thank you, Fel Joss Integrated Company.
Not
This is the
too.
first time. This is my first time of doing a YouTube live on YouTube. So it's a little bit um, it's a little bit. I would say I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but it's a little bit. It's a new experience for me, and I also know that for you as well, and also I mean for our guests as well, it's new. So we're just trying to see how this works because before we would have probably used an extra streaming platform to to do this YouTube live, but this is working now, so we just go ahead and use it. And I hope that other people can join us. They can see us, they can hear us, so we can just go ahead and have this session. So maybe I will just give a brief introduction about our guest that we are having today, which is Minister Olanike Folagbade.
Adenike.
Adenike, okay. I have a lot of Olanike in my life. Adenike Folagbade, and I think I've known her since I think 2021 or 2020 when we were together in a coaching course, and I just saw our passion and our need, our desire to see relationships and marriages, and I've been following our work, since then, and our passion and our need to see that okay, marriages work, relationship work, and she's doing a very marvelous work. She's a minister of God, and she's doing so much around, helping women, also helping men to really take their place in their marriages and in their relationships, so that you're not just living in a marriage, or you're not just living in a relationship for being their sake, but living a purpose driven relationship or marriage, whatever that you're in. And so you can chat her up if you think that you need some counseling, maybe whether it is in terms of marriage or in terms of relationship. You can always reach out to her. But today, so thank you very much for for joining us and for saying yes, you want to do this with us. And she's an international speaker, right? She speaks on different platforms. So for us to have her here today, I think it's a very we are excited to have her here because you know
Thank you. Thank you for all the kind words.
yeah. So let's just leave it that way. But let's just now focus on what we want to do today. Today we wanted to talk about, or we are thinking of talking about, how to approach money in relationships and in marriages. And of course, we already prepared some questions that we'll treat, but we want to make it as flexible as possible, as interactive as possible. And if you have questions around your relationship or around your marriage, please drop them in the chat section. We can see your chats, and we would pick up your questions, and we would be happy to move ahead with that. So one of the first questions before I go ahead, I want her to say one or few words, then I can start with the question. And like I said, it's not like a very, we want to have it in a very chilled manner, right? And because there's something bigger coming, but for this one, we just want to have it in a very chilled manner, relaxed mode, and see what God would have us do today. All right. So, do you want to say something?
All right, thank you
Why
so much
ask?
for inviting me. I am grateful. It's always a delight to be on any platform to
Hmm.
speak about relationships, about marriages. I am very, very passionate about this topic. I can
Hmm.
talk about it while sleeping. It's just always a
I
delight to
know.
help people, and I find joy and fulfillment in doing it. So it's so exciting to be here to talk about love, talk about money, because I mean these are important conversations that people must have, especially in this economy. Okay, I know you're outside of Nigeria, but I mean right here in Nigeria, a lot of things are happening, and I mean it's enough to also break a home if they're not
Hmm.
handling it well. So I think it's a great time to have this conversation. Thank you for
Hmm.
inviting.
Oh, you're welcome. So, I mean, forget about that because I'm outside Nigeria. Sometimes you're outside. Let's just first break that bubble. Sometimes you're outside Nigeria, but also you carry so much burden from Nigeria. Because then you have people reaching out to you, asking, for one kind of support or the other, and you cannot look away because these are people you probably know before. These are people that maybe they are family. Some of them are even they're not. Maybe a major part of it are not even family members, right? They are probably friends, old school friends, old school colleagues, like even random people that you don't know. So as much as you are living out of Nigeria, probably I would say that a chunk of your income also goes back home to, especially if you have people in Nigeria to help them support, because you cannot keep quiet and say, I don't care about people back home. So it's you like, if you want to be true to yourself, or if you are someone that is caring, that is empathetic, you would also feel the bite, a little bit, because that money you are sending, to help people is something probably you can also use for yourself, but then you just have to send it to help some other people. So it's you know, I would it's a mixed thing, I would say, in a way. All right, so let me go to the first question. I think one of the first questions I would want us to talk about is that, when we think about relationships, when we think about marriages, what are those things that, and I'm asking you this because you are experienced in, counseling and, guiding people and teaching around relationships and marriages. So what are those some of those issues you've come across as a marriage counselor, as a relationship counselor? What are those key money issues that you think people should know about, people should be aware of, and you think you want to bring to the table today? Can you hear me?
Yes, my I tried to connect to my Wi-Fi, but it's fluctuating, so I had to bring it back.
Okay, okay. So did you hear the question, or should I
No, no,
repeat
no.
it?
Please repeat the question.
I should repeat the question. Okay. So I
Yes.
said, I know that you've had a lot of experiences, counseling young people trying to get married, I mean, married singles, and even counseling married people. And I know that some of those things, some of the issues that people do have, whether in their relationship or in their marriage, is based on money. It's a financial topic. So I'm trying to say that, do you want to share with us some of those things that you've seen from your experiences, from this, because these are real things, these are real life. This is not like fiction. It's not a pigment of somebody's imagination, but these are the things that probably you have seen, are things that are really happening. So the question is, what are some of those things that you've seen, those issues that you've seen that could be really addressed,
Yeah.
in relationships and marriages?
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's take them one by one. The
Mm-hmm.
first thing I would like to talk about is unspoken expectations.
Hmm.
So when I say unspoken expectations, I'm talking about the fact that a lot of people get married today,
Hmm.
and they are, you know how the Bible says, and the man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave to
Hmm.
his wife and all of that. It's
Hmm.
really an intentional act of cleaving where you are
Hmm.
not just assuming that you know the other person. You know, we say that dating is rehearsal, marriage is the real thing. So if you think you know your partner, it is when you get married you will know them better. It's
Huh.
then you would understand how their parent mindset has impacted them. It's then you
Mm.
will know what belief system they have picked up from society about
Mm.
marriage and how it's playing out. So
Mm.
when I say unspoken expectations, what I
Expectations.
mean is a man can be coming from a family where his father just drops whatever he has,
Mm.
and the woman is to just continue from there, just use it
Mm-hmm.
to sort the bills. And he's getting married to this lady who
Mm.
feels like it's your duty to do everything.
Mm.
Mine is just to give birth and take care of the home. And
Mm-hmm.
so he is dropping this money, and she's nagging and
Wow.
she's complaining, and he's not understanding because
Mm.
he has not spoken to her to say, how are we going to share the financial responsibility? So there's a
Mm.
lot of unspoken expectations that
Expectations.
communication can resolve. That's number
Mm.
one. Number
Mm.
two is what I also call financial irresponsibilities.
Mm.
Financial irresponsibility. So a situation whereby a
Mm.
partner is impulsive. You know,
Mm.
we have two kinds of mindsets in
Mm.
marriages. We have the spenders and we have
Mm.
the savers. We have the
Mm-hmm.
spenders and we have the savers. So
Mm-hmm.
if a spender and a saver gets married,
Mm.
the one who is a spender can have this impulsive
Mm.
nature of always
Mm.
trying to buy new things that are very
Mm-hmm.
attractive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the issue with that is, if for instance they have a goal, say, oh, we want to get a
Mm.
car in the next 2 months and our budget is 6 million naira, and so they're trying to save up for it. And then this one who is a spender, let's assume it's the lady, she sees
Mm.
this beautiful human hair. This hair is about 800K. She's
Oh
thinking,
gosh.
man, I have to buy this hair.
He
Oh.
has to
And
slay.
coupled with the fact that it was supposed to be 1.5, but the vendor says discount, 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 24
Yeah.
hours discount. And then she
Mm.
goes on to buy it. And I mean, what's happening? So it's going to affect the family because we
Mm.
start hearing things like, but why did you buy it? But you didn't tell me about it. Why are you always
About it.
buying new things? Why?
Mm.
What happened to all the hair that you have? Right?
Mm.
And it could also
Mm.
be the man. It could also be the man trying to always change his phone to the latest iPhone
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
15. He's always trying to do this, always trying to do that, and it's affecting the home. So
Mm.
this is a call to understand the nature of your mindset around money,
Mm-hmm.
communicating about money, learning
Mm-hmm.
about money. Okay.
Wow.
The
Wow.
third issue I've also
Wow.
seen
So
is
many
a
things.
lack of agreement
Mm-hmm.
around shared responsibilities. What I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that is this is different now from unspoken expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Unspoken expectation is that you are not communicating how you want the both of you
Mm.
to handle your
Mm.
finances. But when
Mm.
we're talking about lack of agreement around how
Mm.
you are going to share, what I mean by that is it's important that you both discuss that, okay, you know what? Do we buy things every month in the house? Do
Mm.
we do we need to buy like for 6 months or for 3 months?
Mm.
Do you think we need to maybe just let's work on this goal, let's do this. They're not agreeing. There's
Mm.
so much. It's almost like an autopilot. Everybody just living their life the way they like.
The way they like.
There's no agreement, there's no unity. Let me just put it like
Mm.
that. There's no unity of
Mm.
purpose, there's no goal, there's nothing. Do
Nothing.
what you
Mm.
like, do what I like. So that
Mm.
one day, that one
Mm.
day, right? Then
And
we
that
now
and
have
that is the
we
that
know
is
we
a
now
big
have
problem, right? Continue.
yes,
I will come
right.
back
And
to any of these things,
yeah,
all of these things.
and
Yeah.
even under this lack of agreement, we have
Mm.
conversations around my money is my money, your money is
My
our money.
sister,
That is
and this
still under lack of agreement.
agreement.
Yeah, that's still right. And then we also have ignorance. We have
Oh.
ignorance, and
Mm.
ignorance is definitely the fact that the both of you know nada about money. You don't know
Mm.
anything about money. You're not speaking to
Mm.
finance with Bookie. You're not
Mm.
following her. You're not reading
Mm.
her post. You don't know anything. You're just spending the money, using the money the way you like. So there's
Mm-hmm.
ignorance about money, which calls for knowledge. And let me just mention
Wow.
the last one.
Okay.
Let me mention the last one. The
Mm.
last one is going to be when one spouse has a parasitic mindset
Okay. Can you explain
around
that?
money. What I mean by that is
Mm.
there are certain people who intentionally trap their partners into the
Mm-hmm.
marriage so that they can be the banker of their life.
Mm-hmm.
I will use the CBN of their life. So they will
Mm.
pretend as though they have something they are doing. They will
Mm-hmm.
pretend as though they have a business that they are doing, but irony, they are just
Mm.
they can even say they're into forex. Oh, I'm an investor. Oh, I do business, but it's a
Mm.
lie. The moment you
Mm.
get into the marriage with them, all of a sudden you discover that there's no source of income. There's
Oh,
nothing. So you are the one that's going to take care of them. It happens with guys, it happens with ladies. I've seen
are
a
you
lady
kidding?
who has been taking care of the responsibility of the house for like, say, 7 8 years of their
What?
marriage, to the point where this guy is going to ask for data money. He's going to ask for every single money, and if she does not drop the money, he's going to rant, he's going to complain, he's going to shout, he's going to make her feel like the worst person ever. So she's the one who
Uh-oh.
does everything, and that is not how it was supposed to be. So how do you cure this one? It's important that two people who want to get married, you both discuss, how do you earn your money? What do
Mm.
you do?
Mm.
Okay, are you a salary earner? Are you a business person?
Mm.
Don't just stay at mo ń ṣe business, or I do business, the business
Mm.
comes once in a while. No, that's not how
Mm.
you're going to solve it in marriage. So let me just
Mm.
stick with those five. I know there are other ones, but let's just stick with that one.
Wow, wow. So the what is it? What is the title again you gave to that last one? Because
Let's call it parasitic mindset.
parasitic mindset. Wow, this is so interesting. You know, it's good that we can hear this from sometimes, because sometimes when we say things like this, people just think, okay, maybe like I said, maybe it's just it's somebody's it's fictional, like it's not true. But coming from someone like you who has done a lot of counseling, you are a relationship coach, you're a marriage counselor, you have hubs for women, for men, about their marriage and all of this. This coming from you shows that these things exist. It
Yeah,
exists, and we have to just be careful about it. And I can tell you that a lot of marriages that hit the rock, it's either because of money or because of sex. And money is a big issue because I don't know, maybe we are the way we are wired, we are always very afraid to talk about it. And that is what will cause, because we are afraid to talk about it, it's causing all of these things that you're saying. Because if all of these things that you've highlighted, the unspoken expectations, the financial responsibilities, the lack of agreement between the two people, the ignorance about money, the parasitic mindset, if we have at from onset, like really sit down together and really talk about each and every part of that topic, I'm sure these things will not be existing.
yeah,
Right. So for me, I think communication is really a very important part of this whole setup that we have in terms of how
yeah,
to approach money, in relationships and in marriages. Okay, so but from your own, so I've said what I think is important, but from your own perspective, what are some of the ways that we can approach these unspoken expectations for a young lady or for a young man that wants to that is in a relationship, you know, they are afraid of, okay, they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to, make their partner, hungry, and not make him, go, mega on them and say, okay, why you always ask him about money? What, how do you think such people should approach money discussions in their relationships? So let's start from the relationship before we now go into when we have these issues in marriage, how do we address? But let's start from the relationship. So when you notice that, okay, you're having this kind of issues in your marriage, okay, sorry, in your relationship, you are a saver, and then the person you're with is a spender, for example. Or you notice that, okay, the person you're with does not even have any iota about money. You're talking about A, B, C, you're talking about investment, and they're talking about only partying, only buying the latest wig, only buying the latest baths in town. How do you advise that, things like this should be approached?
mm. So this is for those who are in courtship,
Yes, for those who are in courtship.
right?
Yeah, yes, for those who are in courtship. Mm, mm, mhm, 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 mm. Unashamed. Mm, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and a broken marriage. So
Mm-hmm.
it is during these questions like, okay, so first of all, you want
Mm-hmm.
earning money is the first thing. How do you earn?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, absolutely.
And for you to understand money, you need to even ask questions about how they saw money while growing up. There are a lot of
Yes.
people who grew up in a very and there's a lot of poverty
Mm-hmm.
around how they grew up, a lot of managing, there's so
Mm-hmm.
much scarcity. And so
Scarcity.
they come into marriage and they're always trying to manage, they're always trying to, so say
Mm-hmm.
they earn 200K for instance, they may be
Mm-hmm.
like, this is 20K, let's manage it. And the wife is wondering, or the husband is thinking, so
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm.
matters a lot. So if you grew up where you're always going to market every two
Mm-hmm.
days, go and buy
Mm. Mm. Mm.
an abundance mindset
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it's in the actions.
about their upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
It's from the questions you start to see how the person relates with money. Do you
Mm-hmm.
see? Some
Yeah.
people are very religious about money. You know,
Mm.
um, can you?
Somebody's saying they can't hear you.
I think there was a time
Okay, yeah.
that you can hear me.
Please, can you confirm you can hear her? Can you confirm now you can hear? Yeah.
It's
I
bleaching,
think it's
right?
the network. It's not. It's not Minsanke. It's
Yes,
the
yes,
network,
yes.
and network is not something that we can really. It's sometimes not under our control. It's not under our control. We cannot say it's in there.
But if it's very
Okay,
bad,
you
I
can.
can if it's very bad,
It
I
can
can
hear. It
change
can
I
hear
can
you
change the
now.
network in about
They can hear you now. They can hear you
two
now.
minutes or so.
No, they can hear you now. You said I can hear. And I can hear now. You said.
Okay.
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 Thank you
What
for the
was I
feedback.
saying?
Yeah. So you were talking about the
All right.
mindset.
Okay.
The mindset of you have to understand your partner's.
Religious
Yeah, you have to
mindset.
understand. Thank you. You have to understand your partner's mindset. You have to know how they are they a saver, are they a saver, or okay. I think they said you went over at some point.
Yes,
Maybe
yes, yes,
maybe
yes.
you need to repeat
So
that point of the mindset because it's like you went off so that they can catch what
okay,
because I think what you were saying was very pungent. What you were saying at that point was very pungent. Yeah.
okay. So when it comes to having
Mm-hmm.
conversations, allow yourself to both talk.
Mm.
And while you're talking, your job is to discern and observe what your partner is saying
Mm-hmm.
because you want to understand their relationship with money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've talked about those who have a saver mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It went off again. It went off again. Oh, network, be kind to us. You're back now. Okay, okay, okay. Do so. So she's going to connect with another network, and she'll be back. Right? Yeah. So what? So I would
So,
just give a quick recap on what she has been saying. What she has been saying while she settles that network thing. So what she has been saying is that you need to really understand the mindset of your partner. And how do you understand it? You have to like talk with them, have a seat together and converse. You need to converse with your partner and then look at so don't just stop at the point of talking with them, but also observe how they behave. Like observe their money. If they're saying, "Oh, I'm a saver," observe what are the actions they've used to back up those things that they're saying. A saver that does not really have a savings account, or a saver that does not really have an investment account that they are putting their money into, are they really a saver? No. So you have to have those. It's difficult, but you have to have those conversations with them. And if I will tell you this, if you have someone who is not interested in having that that conversation with you, maybe that is not the right person, because you don't want to be shocked by the time you get into a marriage with that kind of person, because they will come back and tell you that, oh, did I tell you that I'm a saver before? Right? They will come back and ask you that question. So you have to be able to talk with them. I mean, if they're not willing to talk to you, then you have to really ask yourself the question, okay, am I able to cope, with this person, if they're not willing to tell me about, how what is their, their relationship with money? Because then it means that if you've not really talked to them about it from the beginning, when the time comes at the end, when you guys get married, then it might become a problem, and they will tell you, but I never told you I'm a saver anyway. So you don't want to be shocked, right? So it's really important that you get that part of your conversation clarified. You need to really talk to your partners. You need to have conversations around it. She's still off, but then I will continue the conversation whilst we wait for her. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them. I will pick them up, and then, because I can see your chats, I'll pick them up, um and we can she will be able to answer them for you. So one of the things you also mentioned is that we need to understand how our partners earn, right? Your partner should be comfortable in telling you how much they earn and how they earn, and not just about comfortable telling you. You should be able to see it. You should be able to see, if they're saying they are earning, they are working. Don't just assume that, okay, they are working. Don't stop at the point of don't stop at that point of, that they are working, and just assume that, okay, everything is fine. You know, Also tests, if they're saying they're into crypto, let them show you that dashboard with their
I'm back.
names.
Can you see me now?
I can see you now. I can see now. Thank you so much. Let me quickly finish this. Let them show you that dashboard with their names and their accounts saying they're actually a crypto trader or a forex trader. Let them show you those real estate. If they're saying they are a real estate, whatever. See on their status, or the people they're talking to, are they, do they really converse with that kind of, on that kind of topic? Are they building themselves up in that area that they say they are earning from? Because a lot of people these days, they just, say, okay, they are this, they are that, they are crypto trader, they are into, I don't know, real estate, oil and gas, and they put everything together. Meanwhile, like she said, it's all fluff. There is nothing in there. And then the person comes back, oh sorry, person comes into the relationship, gets into marriage, and then the person is just sleeping 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, and then it's the other party that has to take care of everything. So apart from just talking about things, try to test it. Follow up with actions, right? Follow up with action. Check, do your own checks. Do become a CID for yourself, right? Become an investigative police to see truly if your partner is earning or is working, because you don't want to be the only one carrying the burden of your home. Okay, she's back now. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. So the last thing you were saying again was about the mindset, understanding your partner's mindset. And I think I was just trying to buttress it with them saying, instead of just apart from them talking to you about, about who they are or how they spend, also make sure that you check their actions, because at the end of the day, actions speaks better than words.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was also mentioning that some people have a religious mindset around money. And
Hmm.
when I mean religious mindset around money, I
Hmm.
mean they say things like, don't worry, let's just see how it will go. God will provide for us. There's no action plan, there's no strategy,
My
there is
sister.
nothing. They
Hey.
just keep on saying, don't worry, God will sort it out. Don't worry, we're daughters of Abraham, we're sons of Abraham, we're blah blah blah. And then you will get married with, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. That's how you get married. And when you get married, you eventually discover that there's no stream of
Oh God.
income. There's no stream of income. Then they start to send messages to people to say, please help me with 5K, urgent 2K,
Hmm.
and things like that. So be
Oh
very
God.
wary of religious people who quote all sort of
Hmm.
scriptures to show that
Hmm.
that's their way of earning.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
don't get married with it's coming, it's coming.
No. Don't get.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm surprised. Okay,
It's true.
you know,
It is
you
really
also
important. But I want one of the key things that one of my spiritual fathers, he would always say that a faith that is 100% reliant on God is a foolish faith. You cannot say, "Oh, God will do it." What are you doing? God will provide. God will provide. You have you started tilling the ground? Continue. That's what I said. Don't
okay.
know. I think it's coming to
Then
it's
you
coming.
see, you also need to talk about things like how are we going to share responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait till you get married before you talk about it. The reason is
Mm,
talking about it during your courtship gives you the capacity and
mm,
ability to know if you and this person are
mm,
willing to compromise and
mm,
agree. So, for
mm,
instance, we have a lot of men today who now see marriage as it's partnership. Oh, you
mm-hmm,
bring 50, I bring 50.
mm-hmm,
And then you see women who say things like, no, 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 I cannot bring 50. I can't give birth and then bring 50 and then take care of children.
mm.
You do 70, I do 30. It
Defect.
is during your courtship season that you are
Mm,
able to ask this question and
mm,
determine if that is what you want so that you don't get
mm,
into marriage and begin to fight over it. You get what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? You
Yeah,
also
yeah,
need to talk
absolutely.
about things like financial planning. How are you both
Mm-hmm,
going to plan? Are you going
mm-hmm,
to when I got married at first, I was coming from where my parents were staying at that time. They stay where like it's almost like a the town, but they had this company there that where my dad was working, and so
mm-hmm,
over there they usually have five days market, and so
mm-hmm,
those 5 days markets will have to go get pepper, get meat, and all those
mm-hmm.
things.
Yeah.
So I aside for buying maybe rice in bulk and all of that, so
Mm-hmm,
I came with that kind of mindset into marriage. I've
mm-hmm,
gotten so used to always having to go to market every 5 days. So I
mm,
wanted to be doing that. So every single, like, say 3 4 days, I would go
mm,
and buy markets, go and buy
mm-hmm.
tomatoes and all
Tomatoes
those
on the
things.
market.
And
Mm-hmm,
then it was just so stressful. And then one day my husband was like, how long are we going to be doing this? Is this how we're going to live our lives? Why not
mm.
let's have a monthly budget?
Budget.
Let's say okay, this is what we're going to buy for the month, and then we
Mm,
can both share it in this percentage. And so
mm-hmm,
that was how I stopped going to market every single 2 to 3 days, except
mm-hmm,
when we have light issues and we're not able to
mm-hmm,
stock things and all of
mm-hmm,
that. So talk about these things because if one person believes in planning every month and the man,
mm.
for instance, believe in going to market every 3 days, it's going to be a problem. The woman is going to feel burdened and
Mm-hmm,
overwhelmed with all of that. So
mm-hmm,
talk about that. Talk
mm,
about goals, investment
mm,
goals, because
mm,
we have people who they are short-minded or
mm.
short-sighted. I don't know the right word to use. We have people who have a very short thinking level.
Yeah.
They're not thinking into the future. We have
You have
people who
a short span, like a midterm,
yeah,
a short term or
we have
midterm
people who
thought process.
they may just be earning 150K,
Mm-hmm.
but they're already thinking of how am I going to get a land? How am I
Mm,
going to get a this? Even with
mm,
that 150K, they're already
mm,
saying, oh, I need to get a TV. Let me save up this amount of money every month. You can see
mm,
that these ones are interested in getting assets. They're
mm,
interested in setting goals financially.
mm-hmm.
Unlike the other one who just the wind blows them wherever
Wherever it
it
leads.
goes. They're not thinking of anything. They're not trying to get any asset. It's the other
Mm.
person that has to say, "Are we not going to get this? Don't you think we need to get the freezer? Oh, can't you?" And then it's always like, "Oh, you have come again every time money." And the other person thinks, "But we need these things. They
Many
are ideal
things.
things we need." You see,
Mm,
so you need to
mm,
talk about these things during your courtship seasons,
mm,
so you can talk about it. You also want to talk about black tax. I
mm.
mean, you want to talk about how are we going to be
It's
giving to
real.
people. It's real because I mean, yeah, in Africa, there's a lot of taxing. You have to take care of the parents, you have to take care of the in-law, you have to take care of the family members, the siblings. You have to do this. So, what if your partner has it in mind that you're going to be
Mm,
the one to pay the school fees of
mm.
their siblings? You're going to be the one to take care of mama every single month.
This is
So
good.
you are quiet about it. You're not talking about it. You're already seeing her say things like, my mom says she needs 100K. Oh, can you help me with it? But to you, you're thinking it's just a once in a while conversation. You need to both talk about it to say, okay, so when we
Mm,
get married, how are we going to talk about, how are we going to
mm,
undo all of these
mm.
things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you don't get into marriage and somebody is now saying, my brother is about to resume school. Their
Mm,
school fees is 250K. And you're like,
mm.
okay, that's fine. Why are you telling me?
Telling
I'm
me.
telling you because you have to give him the money, and you're like, I don't get. Give
Why
him
should I
each
be the one to
money,
give you the money?
and so it becomes a battle of family versus the
Ha.
house. So it is during conversations that you are able to talk about this, and I think you should also talk about: are you owing anybody money? Do
Hmm.
you have debt?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any loan that you collected?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't talk about it, and then you finally get into the marriage, and then you're hearing
And be
something like,
carrying
"Oh,
another person's
I
debt.
was I was owing 3 million naira before. Oh, you work in the bank, so you help us
What?
get some loan," and you're like, "What?" And then this thing now starts causing a lot of battles, a lot of fights, and all of that. And then
Wow.
you start to hear, "Oh, you're too selfish, you're too this, you're too that."
Hmm.
You want to talk about that, right? You also want to talk
Hmm.
about things like, "Oh,
Wow, this is getting very interesting, and our network is not networking today. Okay. Emergency fund.
do we want to go
Yes.
for vacation?" So if, for
Yes.
instance, you say, "Oh, can we go for vacation?" and the person is telling you that vacation, okay, vacation is for some people. It's not for us, right? And maybe you've already thought about how you're going to go to Greece, go to Maldives,
Mm-hmm.
go to this, go to that. So talk
Mm-hmm.
about these things. Talk about these things. Yeah, a
Mm.
call was
Wow.
trying to come in, so it has freezed my screen. I don't know if you are seeing it move in your own place.
I think your screen is now on frozen. It's black. I can still hear you, but I cannot
Okay,
see you. Yeah.
okay, because I mean there was no way I could
You.
stop the call.
Mm. I mean, you've dropped a lot of gems right away. Like the things that you're just dropping. There are things I think you should just become a financial coach, a financial relationship coach, because the things you are dropping, there are things that if I'm asked, to to talk to people who are planning to get married about, giving them directions on how to plan their finances. These are topics I would bring up with them. That okay, you know what, what are you guys, in terms of how do you guys want to, fund your home? How do you want to think? What are you thinking about your finances, your investment goals? Do you guys have Are your investment goals aligned? How do you want to operate do you want to operate your home? Do you want to bring it together to 50-50, or you want to bring it, maybe 30% each, and then you use it to run your home, and then the remaining 70% from each person, they will use it for whatever. Or you want to just put everything inside a pot, just have like one pot where everybody draws from and all of that. And then, you want to ask, like what you said about, how to help the family members. Because some people will be like, okay, I'm if I am the main financier of my family, when I'm getting married, then they would expect, okay, maybe that responsibility should continue. Now the question
Yeah,
is,
especially if
does
you're
the
getting married to a firstborn.
exactly, the question is now to make sure that your partner understands that, okay, you are the main financier of your family, right? At least until maybe your family members are able to stand on their own. So your partner has to understand that, okay, oh, this person, he's the main financier of his family, so that it won't be like, okay, every time I'm asking you for money, you're always saying my mother, my sister, my brother. Are you the only one in your family? Yes, he's the only one. Yes, because and those are the things that causes problems, because now you've not really opened up to your partner, your wife, that okay, well, I'm the main financier of my family, and then you're coming home and then you're saying, okay, I'm giving some money to mama, I'm giving some money to my sister for school fees, and she's thinking, why are you putting your family first before our family? Those are some of the questions, and those are some of the things that that raises concern. Those are some of the things that actually then causes grievances between partners, and then the issue starts developing from there. So again, there's you can talk about this from morning to night. Excuse me. You can talk
Mm-hmm.
about this from morning to night, and there is always something, is a hole or a point to drill from. Now you also talk about thinking about financial planning. A lot of people don't think about their financial plan. They just think, okay, I just get money, I spend on the main things I have to do, and that's it. You have to sit you have to sit down together and say, okay, oh, how do we want to, the same way you are planning to see, the same way you are sitting down together to plan your what's it called, your marriage or your wedding. You have to sit down together and also plan, okay, what is our money plan? What is our money plan? And whenever you're thinking about money plan, you're thinking about, you know, budgeting, Your camera is still blank.
Okay, let me go hard. The call that came in that actually
Okay, so
busted.
maybe you should go out and come back in.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So when you think about what's it called? When you think about financial plan, you're thinking about say earning money. Yeah, you're thinking about earning. You're thinking about she's back now. You're thinking about any money. You're thinking about budgeting. You're thinking about okay, now you're back. Good idea. You're thinking about budgeting. You're thinking about saving. You're thinking about investment. You're thinking about estate planning, will. You know, you're thinking about your will. It's not that okay. Oh, some people until when they are there, they realize that okay, their wife is not their next of kin, or their husband is not their next of kin, and then you start seeing problems from extended families that don't even have any business to do with your family. So all of these things are things that you have to discuss, and then you even see that okay, maybe you are using, for example, that legacy thing. You are using your wife as your next of kin. Meanwhile, your wife is not using you as your next of kin. How is that? How is that even making sense? Because then that is a little bit selfish. So why would I be trusting that okay, you will be able to take care of my affairs and you cannot trust me because it's not an issue of trust. You cannot trust me to take care of your own affairs. So those are
Yeah,
some of the key things that we have to think about when we think about financial planning.
yeah.
She also said, you have to do, she also talked about, monthly budget. She said, how where she grew up from, she's always going to the market every 3 or 5 days. But when by the time she got married, I was like, babe, why are we doing 3 to 5 days? I beg, let's do 1 month, so that you can plan. And then that way you're able to make a budget, you're able to have a clear overview of how much you're spending per time for what, and for the next month, what's or how much is what's going to cost you. And doing a monthly budget is like the very basic level of financial planning. If you cannot do a budget, if you cannot stick to it, to save becomes difficult, to invest becomes even more difficult. So she also said that talk about investment goals and all that. So my question is, and if there are some people, let me quickly ask you this question. Sometimes when we talk about investment goals, people have different ideas about how they want to invest. So if, for example, your partner has a different idea of what their own investment is about, how do how, and that okay, this thing that this guy is doing or this lady is doing is not the right way. How do you, and you don't want to come across as okay, all knowing, oh, I am always the person that's right, you know. You don't want to come across like that, but you still want to come across as level-headed, respectful person, But you still want to, you know, make sure that okay, at the end of the day, we will not both fall inside the ditch of losing our money, So
Okay.
how do you address that? Because I'm asking this. There was a time that in Nigeria, and I'm using Nigeria because both of us are Nigerians and we have a lot of people that watch this who are from Nigeria. There was a time where a lot of people, and I think it's still on a lot of this MMM thing, multi something something, and it's all scam. So in the case where you have a partner who believes that if I want to break through, like I have to do MMM, and other person is like is that you don't know that MMM is a scam? All this money, it will. So how do you convince that kind of partner to say, okay, dude, please, don't go and invest all our, because those kind of things can actually, break homes. Imagine a husband carrying all the family portfolio into
Savings.
MMM and the thing went bust. The wife can pack her bags and say, I want to leave.
Yeah.
So how do you handle such cases?
So when it comes to investment, first there has to be clear communication
Hmm.
about what kinds of investment do we want to make.
Mm-hmm.
Some people believe in let's buy land, let's build house, and let's become a landlord. Another
Mm,
person will say that's liability. Do you know how long it will take to pay that money back? So I'm not going to go in that direction. So,
mm,
and the other person is saying, let's go and buy two land in Ekpe or Ikorodu, or
mm.
those inside. They're like, don't worry, it's going to
Interland.
it's going to become, very place is going to become open very soon, and we'll be making a lot of money and things
Mm,
like that. And the other person can say, I don't believe in that. I can't wait
mm,
for the next 5 years for a
mm,
place to become a busy place. So let's just go buy land where, okay, let's just get 10 million naira land somewhere in I'm trying to look at where you can get 10 million naira land, but let's just say 15 million naira land somewhere and all of that. And you're like, you know what? So when we get this land in the next 4 years or 3 years, we can sell this land for 50 million naira in this location. And the other one is saying, no, 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 we can't take this 10 million naira. Let's go to Ekpe and buy 10 land, 10 plots of land or 1 acre of land for just 5 million naira, for instance.
Mm.
So the truth is, whenever there's this kind of clash,
Mm.
it's important that couples learn to tilt to the side of the one who is more of an expert in terms
Mm.
of a topic.
Mm. Mm.
If we want to do investment, for instance, I would probably allow my husband handle it because
Mhm.
he is more of a risk taker.
Mm.
He understands how to take risk and
Mm.
also understands the fact that okay, he wants to get this, he want to get that and all of that. So I think that they have to first communicate about their different thoughts about
Mhm.
investment. And then
Mhm.
when it comes as though this one says, oh, this is how I want it to be. You see, in marriage and sometimes you have to make personal decisions when it comes to
Mm.
investment. I know that that goes against the whole unity stuff, but if a family comes together to save up, say 5 million naira, and they say, okay, we need to invest in this, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
then this one is saying, no, let's go to Ekpe and get 5 acres of land, and this one says, no, let's get at Maryland and all.
Mm.
If they begin to argue and argue and argue too much, so
Mm.
I'm a Christian. I believe that there's a place for prayer when
Mm.
the heart of your spouse is concerned. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can pray, you can seek counsel. You can
Mhm.
sometimes tell them, can we speak to somebody who
Yeah.
understands better? Oh,
Mhm.
can we speak to a counselor, or can we
Mhm.
speak to uncle? Uncle is better in this area.
Mm.
Uncle has,
Mm.
done this type of things. Allow somebody else to educate the both of you and all of
Mhm.
that. So while you will go through the route of
Mm.
communicating, getting someone to speak to the both of you,
Mm.
and
Mm.
also seeking counsel, praying about it. At some
Mm.
point, if your husband, let me use husband because the husband is the
Mm.
head of the home. If the
Mhm.
husband insists that I
Mhm.
want to go to Maryland and get
Mm.
the land there,
Mm.
allow him to get it because he's the husband. When it is the
Mm.
wife that is insisting on
Mm.
Maryland and the man is insisting on Ekpe, for instance, you
Mm.
can tell him, you know what, out of this 5 million naira that we have, if you want to go to
Mm.
Ekpe, you can take 2 million naira out of the 5 million naira and get it at Ekpe, but do not use all of our money because I do not totally agree with this. If you want to use
Mm.
your personal funds to go get the whole half of Ekpe, you can do that. So that at the end of the day, you will be able to say it's your money. Yes, our money to a degree, but don't use all the money. It's
Mm.
important that couples learn to shift
Mm.
and
A
not try to be
compromise. There has to
too
be
rigid.
compromise. Don't be too
Let there be
rigid.
compromise sometimes.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
carry all the money, that 5 million
Mm.
naira, and go and buy the whole land at a pay.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong, your partner is going to blame you. Like everything is going to come back to you. But you see, when you
Yes.
split the risk into half, there's a way
Exactly.
that you can say, oh, at least thank God we have this money. Now, when it comes to
Exactly.
things like MMM,
Mm.
say the husband is saying, let's take this money and let's do MMM, and the wife
Mm.
says, no, I think this is a scam. If you can just tell him, go and use your own money. You cannot
Mm.
use our money because on a
Mm.
normal day, the way you save even matters. Let's even start
Mm.
with that. How are you saving the money? Are you using a special account to save,
Mm.
or are you
Mm.
putting the money in mommy's account or in daddy's
Count.
account? Because
Mm-hmm.
if the money is in husband's account and
Mm.
wife is insisting that no, don't let's do this MMM,
Mm.
husband can actually take that money and go and do the MMM and she
Remember,
will not
behind the
know,
back.
right? If he takes that money and then he gets, say he gets 8 million naira and he comes and says, see what I was telling you about, I got 8 million naira, and all of that, that's an issue. So I think that if you want to save towards investment and capital projects, I think you should open a special account where the both of you would have to be signatories, where
That
money
is
does not
really
come out.
important.
That's
Yeah.
very important. Don't let
Process.
get so emotional about money decisions because things can really go bad and all of that. And
Yeah.
then if you're not going to sign for that 5 million naira to come out
Mm-hmm.
for you to go and do the MMM, your spouse knows that you are not in support. Let them go use their personal money to go do
Mm.
this gambling of a thing. Do you
Mm.
see? And then some spouses can actually get very violent. Actually, to say,
Mm.
"I am the head of this house. It is what I want to
Mm.
do. You're gonna do." The moment your
Mm.
spouse begins to threaten and all of that, right?
Mm.
Sometimes use that as the opportunity to learn. To say, "Okay,
Mm.
I now finally see how you behave with money." So this
Mm.
attitude of yours is showing that we cannot both agree together to
Mhm.
make investment together. Do you
Mhm.
see? Because now it now teaches you to be wiser with how you want to make further investment. And now
Yeah.
when it comes to investment also, so let's assume a husband and a wife come together to save up 10 million naira, and it
Mm.
is 60-40%. And then the
Mm.
husband says, "Okay, let's go buy a property, for instance,
Mhm.
a house, a land that has a foundation on it." And then by the time he wants to sign the contract, he then says he's going to sign it as Mr. Yomi and Mrs. Adebanjo, that kind of a thing.
Mm.
And and the lady is saying, "No, it's our money. So we're coming together. Let it be Mr. Yomi and Mrs. Bimpe Onobanjo." Do you understand? The
Mm.
man is saying, "No, no, 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 no. Mr. and Mrs. Yomi Onobanjo is okay." You definitely want to
Don't
tell
do
yourself,
that.
no way. You have to be very careful. And you see, some of this mindset comes from the man trying to be smart, or it's coming from a traditional background, and that's
Mm.
how his dad did it and all of that. But remember, your money is involved. Because
Mm.
see, we counsel women today who they both built the house together, they both did the project together, but
Mm.
they kind of used the name of the husband, and now
Mm.
he has gotten another woman pregnant. He now has other wives, and now you are now spending money, more money, to get a lawyer to come and do the legal process that you did not do in the beginning.
In the
So
beginning,
let's
that
be
is
wise. When
that's
it comes,
totally
we're not
wise.
saying
So,
you do not trust
hey,
your partner, but Bible says the heart of a man is wicked. You cannot determine what that good person can do in the next 5 years when
like,
money flows in their direction. So anytime you're making business or capital investment decisions, make sure you act as though it is a true partnership. Use your brain. Don't be gullible in how you're making those decisions and all of that. And if your partner
don't
is
be
always
emotional.
making wrong decisions, don't want counsel, doesn't want anything, allow them to begin to do their investment themselves. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not anything. It's just you being secured for your family. Go do your
Mm-hmm.
own investment. Let this person do their own investment. And you
Yeah.
see, aside for your corporate investment, I want to
Mm-hmm.
also encourage you to have personal investment where
Mm-hmm.
maybe you are buying stocks, you're buying
Mm-hmm.
shares. Say when
Mm.
MTN advertised their shares, I think
Mm-hmm.
last year, you can buy for yourself, you can buy
Mm.
for your children, your husband
Mm.
can buy. You don't have to
Yeah.
buy all the investment in the both
Together.
of you name. Wetin happen now? Now only na carry. Do you get? We do a lot
It's
of
like that's finished
things
table for
because
everybody.
of love, and then I mean, it's not like you don't have to do this, but things are really getting different these days, and I
Mm.
think that we need to be wiser with how
Yeah.
I'm not teaching you to go and be doing things aside. I'm just saying study your partner,
Yeah.
understand the kind of partner that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a person I can plan long time with, or is
Mm-hmm.
it that even the first time we tried it, you have already started doing nonsense?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see? Imagine a husband and wife saving together
Mm.
to invest in a house, and all of
Mm.
a sudden the man starts to take out of the money to sponsor another girlfriend's school. These are things that happens that we hear in counseling sessions. And
Wow.
now they are how does she want to handle it?
Athlete.
First of all, she's not even supposed to know that he's sending the money. It's because she has gone through his chat to see that he now has a girlfriend, and she's trying to enter into school, and she needs 2.5 million naira, and he's saying, "Don't worry, babe, don't worry, I will take the money for you. I will get it for you." And you can see that he's asking you that, "Babe, I need 2.5 million naira. I want to really do this quick business." But you know that you have seen the chat. These are real life issues that happens.
What?
So what you gonna say? "Oh, I can't give it to you. I can't." Or didn't you see the one that trended on Instagram yesterday, where the man took their life savings to go do
Okay.
surgery for mama, but did not tell her?
Oh God.
That is very painful. So
Ah,
people are beginning to feel like, I don't get, how can you take our life
our life.
savings? I don't know how much that could be. So let's just imagine that they had like 20 to 30 million naira, and they needed to do a major surgery. And being the head of the house, you just decided that I can make this decision by myself. And so you
No.
go take this money and go
No.
do surgery for mama.
No, 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 no,
You
no.
know,
That is
a lot of things are happening
no,
these
that is
days,
not that is
right?
unacceptable. Because I think for in that case, in this case of this person that you just mentioned now, the 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 act itself would hurt more than probably telling the woman. If you had told the woman that, okay, babe, maybe ask her that, okay, do you mind? That would have probably not been as painful as her not knowing and getting to know after you've done you my least people say I did the dude. After doing the dude, you now came back. So you know so I mean, of course, it's for a good cause in a way, because okay, you want to save mama, fine, but then at whose expense? You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. As much as mama has the right to that money, your wife that also did the contribution together with you every month, every year, putting that money, she also has the right. She can also use the money to do the surgery for her mom as well. But maybe that's that's a topic.
Yeah, and
you know
we didn't even talk about the aspect of joint account that
wow.
usually causes a lot of
Mm-hmm.
issues when
Yes.
people get married.
Mm.
So they always ask questions like, do we do personal account or joint account? And I will always say to people that
Mm.
you're going to have your personal account first. That one is
Mm.
normal. Before you even
Mm.
got married, you were first an
Mm.
individual. You
Yeah.
already had accounts. Some of
Mm-hmm.
us even have three accounts. So you
Mm.
cannot come and tell us that you didn't have accounts, right? The only thing that happens now is when you now get married, you now say to yourselves, so do we want to run our marriage like, let's have a common purse,
Mm-hmm.
and let's bring funds together. We will use
Mm-hmm.
this money to cater for the house and cater for everything. Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
earn 600K, I earn 1 million naira. I bring
Mm-hmm.
700, you bring this. Now
Mm-hmm.
that is, you're opening an account. You're both a
Mm.
signatory to it. You both decide on how much you will put in it every single month.
Every single
This
day.
does
Yeah.
not stop your personal funds, right?
Exactly.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to pay for anything, house rent, school fees, food, it is taken after approval of the other person, is taken
Mm-hmm.
from this money to sort
Mm-hmm.
what you want to do. Thank
Yeah.
God we have apps like Piggyvest, iInvest, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. You can
Yeah.
choose, instead of opening an account, you can choose to also use that. It's just that, I mean, both of you should have access to that app so that it doesn't
Apps.
look
Yeah.
like one person is just playing while you and all of that. So you see,
Mm.
all of this boils down to communication, but it
Mm.
is more effective when there is transparency, when there is
Mm. Yeah.
honesty, so
Mm-hmm.
that you both know that we are on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
Couples must understand that they are a
Mm-hmm.
team
Mm-hmm.
and they are working together to help each other.
Mm-hmm.
Women, we have come into a season where we
Mm.
are partnering with our spouses, and we're
Mm.
saying, you know what, let's do this together. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do this. So how much do we want to, save up together? You cannot
Mm-hmm.
sit down and be trying to do baby girl soft life, except you're married to Babanda. That's fine. If you're married to a grandfather or to any kind of man that is earning billions of naira, that's fine. But even if a man is earning billions of naira, still maintain your self worth by choosing to be responsible for, even if it's one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One thing, just to
One
show
thing.
that you're a responsible person. You don't
Mm.
get married from. I've moved away from the question anyway, so let me just come back.
Thank you. I think apart from the fact that you're a relationship coach and a marriage counselor, I think the way you treated this topic is really really fantastic. Like and I'm so happy that you joined us and you are able to give us these things, because like I said earlier on, these are real life things. They're not pigment of your fiction, right? They're not things
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
imagine. These are conversations you've been having with people, and they're people's lives, that we are discussing here. So thank you so much. One of the questions, before we round up, one of the questions that I can see online is saying, what should a partner do when the other partner is the sole provider for the family? The man throws jibes at his wife that he provides. Yes, she has an handiwork, but limited because her husband won't support. How do you advise this case?
Okay, so the husband is the sole provider of the family, and
Yeah.
so he's always throwing jabs at her
Mm-hmm.
because he's the one that provides. She has
Yeah.
a handwork, but she's limited. So
Mm-hmm.
my question now is, for the person who posted this question, I want you to
Mm.
be very clear about what you want us to address, because I'll tell you the different issues here. Number one, you want us to address the fact that he's throwing jabs at her. That's number one. Is that
Mm.
what you're asking? Number two, is it the fact that, is it okay that he is the major provider? Number three,
Mm.
is it because he's not supporting her? So
Mm.
let me just
Oh
address the
God.
three of them.
I think can you quickly just do the three so that and then we'll round up and then we can call it a day.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the first thing I'm going to say is that how did they get to the point where he is the sole provider? Did they discuss it like that, or is she limited due to the fact that she does not really have much that she's doing? We must understand how they got to that point. Is
That
it from a
point.
place of the man came from a natural point of view that come, don't worry, I'm the sole provider. You do whatever you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. If that is
Mm-hmm.
where it's coming from, then they probably want to revisit that conversation
That
to
template.
say,
Yeah.
okay,
It's
do
not
you
working.
want to be the sole provider,
Mm-hmm.
or is it okay for me to come in this place, even if it's NEPA bills, cleaning bills that you want to start? You
Mm.
definitely want to say to your partner, I think I want to do this aspect, so that
Mm-hmm.
we can both do some things together. That's for
Mm-hmm.
that part. Revisit the old agreement on who does what and all of that.
What?
If
Mm-hmm.
your husband is insisting that he wants to be the major provider, you just do your thing. Then
Mm-hmm.
you want to have a conversation with him to say, so why are you speaking to me this way? Why are you being
Mm.
verbally abusive towards me? You also
Mm-hmm.
want to check the patterns that exist in his family. Is that how they usually not do not support their wives, and
Right.
then become abusive towards them? Is it
Mm.
something that is coming from a family lifestyle or pattern
Mm.
that has existed for so long? Now, another
Mm.
thing I want to say to this woman is, yes, I know you have a handwork and you
Mm.
feel limited because it's not supporting you. I put it to you that your husband may also, I'm not concluding, I'm just assuming your
Mm.
husband may be of this notion of people who think that a woman should not thrive or be successful than her husband. And
Mm.
so he does not want you to excel beyond him. So he cannot
Mm-hmm.
even support you. He's just going
Mm.
to be aware that you have that business and you can
Business.
just be that woman by the roadside who is just managing and stuff. If that is the
Mm.
kind of mindset that your husband has, I say to you that you have to go beyond your husband as your source. You have
Mm.
to understand now that your relationship with God is going to be your biggest currency to the
Mm.
elevation that you're seeking in life. You must
Wow.
understand that God is your shield, your
Mm.
buckler, your glory, and the
Mm.
lifter of your head. You are going to have to go beyond waiting for Him to give you 100K for
Mm.
support. Now you are
Mm.
going to tell the Lord to take what is on your hand and cause
Mm-hmm.
it to be increased, right? It says
Mm-hmm.
that if you meditate on the word day and night, practice what
Mm-hmm.
is in it, that you are going to be successful in everything that you do. You are going
Mm-hmm.
to carry yourself and take your prayer level seriously. Take your
Mm.
work with God seriously. The third thing
Mm-hmm.
you're going to do is that the little money you are making, you're going to see
Mm.
how you can take from it and invest in books, invest
Mm.
in courses, invest in
Mm.
coaching, invest in
Mm-hmm.
mentorship. Start from where you can start from. If it is
Mm.
YouTube videos you can watch, watch
Mm.
the YouTube. Aside
Mm-hmm.
for your handiwork, do you want to learn a side also? Do you want to learn
Mm-hmm.
how to be a content creator? Do you want to learn
Mm-hmm.
one or two things? I say to you, if you begin to excel at what you're
Mm.
doing without your husband's support, it's going to first be it's going to be marvel like what's happening here.
Mm.
So two things can happen. It's either he begins to honor you and respect you differently because now you are rising and you're saying, you know what, I bought this microwave when I was coming, I bought this, I
Mm-hmm.
bought that, and he's saying, oh
Mm.
wow, what's happening here? If he has a
Mm.
good mindset, then that's
Mm.
what's going to happen. If he's actually interested in your downfall, I say to you that the moment you begin to rise, it's going to keep looking for reasons. I'm speaking
Mm.
on this matter now, not just from a financial perspective. I'm saying
Mm.
this because I know of a lot of women who are
Mm.
handicapped in their marriage today because they've married a man who says that their wife is not going to excel beyond the way that she is. I'm currently speaking to someone who
Wow.
was excelling. Both of them were doing very well. Everything was fine. All of a sudden, she lost her job and she thought that something had gone wrong. It took her years. After losing the job, staying back at home, then he said to her, why not just raise the children first? When the children are this age, then you can go and start your job. So she held on. This means years of being dependent on the husband.
On the
So when
husband.
she noticed that the children had come to a level of okay, yeah, they can stand on their own. He said to
Mm-hmm.
her, no, what do you want to work for? In this family, in my family, women don't rise, women don't excel at a particular level. That was when she discovered that he went to visit an herbalist to make her lose her job. As I speak to you, the children are now in their 20s and she is just about to pick up her life again. So I'm saying this to you to let you know how many years she fought this battle. How she knew was it was a battle was because the mother of the husband told her that come oh, don't grieve for your husband oh. Shey you say what he's doing to you is what his father did to me, and he
What?
actually succeeded. Yes, these are real life issues. I
Ah,
cannot begin to
Mr.
tell you
Nika,
examples.
we need to invite you again.
I cannot begin to tell. This one I'm saying. This one I'm saying is a coded battle that happens in Yoruba land and in Igbo land and in many places that nobody's talking about it in the church. Everybody just quiet and just looking at things and just for me, everybody should be submissive. Women should be submissive. I cannot begin to count how many women have become a non-entity because they got married to somebody that is from a family where a woman should not excel. And their excuse is that when you excel now, you'll not be able to respect me. Yeah, we will talk about
Oh,
the respect aspect. But sometimes this woman has not even disrespected you. Her mistake is that she started to make money. That is the mistake that she made. And I'm not even
ah,
joking. It gets to the point where let me tell you one. There was this one that the little money she was making, as she was making the money, she will have a dream where a strong man will come and ask her for that money and say,
eh?
give it to me. And she did, so she was always broke. She was always not having.
Oh my
And so she was
God.
like, what's going on now? The little money I'm even making, I'm not using it. That's when the Lord opened her eyes to see that this family you are in, no, they don't allow women, they bury them. They become, can't you see all the women? Can't you see that there's nothing happening here? This is a conversation. So you
Okay,
think that
now.
women are just fighting? This feminism you're seeing, you think it's just a battle of, oh, you not respect me, you respect. No, there's a lot of battle underground that women
Okay.
are facing. Men are also facing their home. But I'm speaking now to the fact that a lot of women are not excelling because they have married somebody who is
Oh God.
pushed by a spirit in him that says
Hey.
women will not excel in this lineage. I'm serious. I know the one that she's currently working with me. She's like one of my team members. She moved from a multi-millionaire to zero level. They sold everything in her shop just so that she becomes nothing. This is not a joke. So when we talk about finance in marriages, I say to you, don't work with just head knowledge alone. You must discern the patterns in your
In
marriage.
your
You must
marriage.
ask yourself, what is happening here? Why is it that every time you're about to start a new job or excel in your business or connect with a destiny helper or something happens?
Whew.
Sister Buki, I hope you know that something has shifted, that the
It
conversation
has,
has moved from the
the,
question.
the conversation, the conversation has shifted.
Yes, it has shifted because maybe there's someone here that needs to hear
That
this.
needs to hear,
Maybe there's
maybe there's
someone here
someone
that
here.
needs that deliverance. You have been asking yourself, why am I stagnant? Why am I experiencing stagnation? I am saying to you,
And
I'm hearing it
and this is not
clearly.
just for a female. It
Stagnation.
can also be for a male. It can be for both sides.
Yes, it can be
Listen to
both
her.
sides. There are men who are limited because of who they got married to. And it's not just a matter of this woman is frustrating you. This woman always fights with you when you connect with a destiny helper. This woman there's always problem when you're about to rise. And you keep asking yourself, why am I going around in circle? You had better carry your prayer belt and take it seriously. Don't sit down there and just say, ha, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even know. No, you cannot say you don't even
Don't
know. You
calculate
are
it.
going to
Don't do
ask.
it calculation.
No, don't sit down and be doing head calculation. Some of you have been doing a business and you are in that business for the past 5 years. You are still earning the same amount of money. Bible says that the path of the just
Just like the shining light
shineth brighter and brighter.
and
You're
brighter.
supposed to be moving forward. You're not supposed to be 5 years in a business and you have not moved from the 100K you are making. Waiting they happen. And you are looking at it and you are saying, oh, the stress is too much. Some of you are married to somebody who always loses his job every single time.
Oh God.
Do you know how many issues we have? Do you know how many issues that we are currently dealing with? This one loses his job every single time. So she's the one that takes care of every single thing. She
Everything. Oh
doesn't
God.
always have any single money when it is 2 weeks after salary because she don't marry problem. So
Oh.
do we see that a lot of times the battle for financial growth and elevation and upliftment is both in the area of knowledge, seek
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge that you need, work on
Mm-hmm.
those areas of your life where you can
Mm-hmm.
see a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to finance with bookies, speak to her and say to
Mm-hmm.
her, I want to be more disciplined about my
Mm-hmm.
finance. Because if you're going to break a pattern, you're going to break it with knowledge and with prayer. You're not going to
Yeah.
break it with just knowledge. If you're just
Mm-hmm.
doing knowledge, something is still going to be leaking somewhere. If you're
Mm-hmm.
just doing
Mm-hmm.
only prayer, you will not have the
Mm-hmm.
wisdom to multiply.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah, yeah,
understand?
yeah. It's a
Uh-huh.
two-pronged approach. Use a two-pronged approach.
Yes, a two-pronged approach. I
Yeah.
want to also speak to a category of person that you are so confused about what you want to do. You don't know
Mm.
what to do. You don't know what to start. You are just there. Since you got
So,
married, you are just static. I want to
mm,
tell you to take some time to pray. Remember
oh,
what you used to do before. That thing
mm,
that you used to do before that you think is nothing because your
mm,
spouse has commonized it. Your spouse has
mm,
told you go and just rent a shop somewhere and be selling biscuits. But you know that there is a skill. You know that there is a capacity that God has put in you that you are
mm,
yet to use. But because the person you are married to is
mm,
despising what is in your hands, you
mm,
left it alone and you are there busy typing different things on Google, how to start cake business, how to start hair business. And God is looking at you
mm,
like this, that, but I've put something in you. I've told you to start helping special needs children because in
mm,
it I will multiply you. But you are
mhm,
just there. Your spouse is saying, what's that nonsense you want to do? Is that the
mm,
nonsense you want to do? Is it in this
mm,
house you're not going to do that? No. You must get the strategy to break free of any form of limitation that you're experiencing. Do we
mhm.
see? I pray that the
Yeah.
Lord increases us. Let me allow you to
Wow.
ask the next question.
Hey. Wow, guys, are you? I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one feeling it. I think I don't know if you noticed when the conversation shifted. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is totally different, and I'm really saying thank you. I thank you so much, for joining, for having this conversation, and for moving with the spirit, because we understand that, okay, we are not alone and all that. So the other question I have, I know we budgeted only 1 hour for this, and so I to be honest with you, I have like 14 questions. So definitely, so of course we cannot deal with all of those things today, right? But let me ask two more, and then we take it, put a lid on it, and then we would have you again.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have you again. But let me just ask two questions.
Yeah.
Um, so one of the questions I want to ask is, for people who want to go into marriage. Somebody's asking, should I wait for my partner's financial stability before I go into marriage? Or should I, because most times we don't know, nobody knows. I was reading a book about money today, and really, nobody knows what is going to happen tomorrow. For example, in the stock market, it can go up or it can go down. Financial analysts can say whatever they want to say. Whatever has to happen tomorrow would happen. So you cannot really determine, okay, no worries. I'll keep talking. Then maybe if we cannot see you, then probably you should go out and then try to join in again. But I would, yeah, okay. So just join in again, guys. Please drop your comments. Sorry, drop your questions. Drop your questions on the chat. I'm seeing your chat. Drop your questions on the chat. I can relate it to her. She would help us to answer it. But I think she definitely has to come back, because I don't know if you noticed when the conversation shifted, and I hope that the person that needs to hear what she had said, or some of the things she had pointed out, is here listening, or would listen, so that they can actually work on it. Because sometimes we don't need just our brain to approach some things in life. There are some battles that they're too prompt. You have to work on it, both from the mind and mental area, in the pragmatic area, and also spiritually, and that includes the matter of money. How can you be sleeping, and every time you are somebody's coming to collect money from you in your dreams? How how is that even possible? And don't belittle those kind of things. Don't think that they are insignificant, right? Don't think that they are insignificant. And these are things. And why I'm so happy that she joined us is because I know that she works in this area, and like I said, she's a marriage coach, she's a relationship coach, and these are things that she sees in the sessions that she attends, like the sessions she gives people. These things that she's talking about are real life things. And I don't want to say, it can never happen to me. I'm telling you that some of those people that those things happen to, I'm sure they also said it can never happen to them, right? They also said it can never happen to them. But somehow, while men slept, the enemy came to sow tares. right? So you have to be vigilant, you have to be watchful, you have to be, you have to be you have to be proactive and say, okay, oh, as much as I'm in love, my emotions is in it, my everything is in it. I also want to, remain, I also want to remain pragmatic and also, be spiritual about this money issue. I also want to be spiritual about this money issue because you cannot be dreaming that somebody's coming to you every day to collect money and then and then every other day there's one loss or the other, there's one theft happening or the other, there's one accident or the other, there's something that somebody needs help for, and it has to be you that has to provide that money to to solve that, that issue. There was a time in my life that somebody in my life was always having issues. I had to send that person to say, okay, I had to like commission like a kind of deliverance because I'm like, okay, if this is consistent, it is becoming abnormal. So you have to be at alert to identify trends. You have to be at alert so the enemy can come to steal from you, but not directly. It can come in form of as black tax. Let me even go there. You understand? So like that's this thing you talked about, this thing trend on what's it called on Instagram with the man that went to use the money, his family money to do mama's surgery and all of that. You know, probably the man, in a normal way, he might not even want to. You understand? He might not even want to, but okay, demands is there, and life is involved. Okay, that surgery has to be done. But why is it that why does it have to be a surgery that will cost that amount of money that has to be done?
Because it was a door. It was a door of, is it what they call? Is it devourer or
Yeah,
to devour the
it's
money?
yeah,
Yes,
it's a devourer. So why does it have to be that surgery that will cost that amount of money that would happen?
and it's
Why
probably
can't it be
maybe 30 million naira, or it was a lot of money because she
why
was
can't
really
it be a
really
small why
locally.
can't it be a small surgery? So I'm not blaming the man. I'm not blaming because I don't know their story. I don't know. But I'm just trying to, question and say, okay, what other ways can we, approach this and all of that. And that is why, it's good to do insurance, do health insurance. At least with health insurance, at least you can the hospital or the insurance people will be able to cover some amount of some what's it called for you. But I know that the insurance culture in Nigeria is not something that people really do. Even where some people believe that okay, insurance is a waste of money, but still do it. Because if things happen, at least there's a little bit of nest that you can play around. So I don't know now if this man has a kind of health insurance. So yeah, you can even do apart from doing health insurance for yourself or maybe the HMO that we have in Nigeria, you can do health insurance for loved ones. So for people who are in the diaspora, you can do health insurance for your family members in Nigeria so that it's not every time they are calling you, okay, send money for medicine, send money for hospital. Do health insurance for them. Once you do health insurance for them, instead of them calling you to ask for money for medicine and for hospital every time, they can use that insurance, take the HMO thing to the hospital, and then they will be taken care of. All right, thank you so much for for coming back. Yeah. So the question I asked before you went on was that should I wait? Someone one of the is that should I wait for my partner to be financially stable before I go into marriage? Or should I although I know that he's not financially stable yet, and I think maybe this would be more for like from a girl's perspective or a woman's perspective, or it could even be the other way. So should we wait or should we not wait, or should we think, okay, believe that God is going to do wonders and he's going to do a miracle and things to be fixed. So what do you from your experience, can you please enlighten us?
So I think that it varies with the people. What does stability means to you? Does
Mm-hmm.
stability mean that he's now in a three-bedroom apartment with a car and hence 7 figures and all of that? Or is it that you just want the income to be very consistent
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, oh, is earning 150K so we know, so that 150K is consistent? Is it,
Mm-hmm.
we need to understand what is your idea of consistency? Is it a higher income? Is it
Mm-hmm.
extended properties and assets that would give you the security that you need? Is it
Mm-hmm.
um is it extra income? So what about you also? Now if this person is earning an amount that can even keep the both of you together in terms of, oh, say you don't have a child yet, but that money is enough to feed, to shelter, to do the necessary basic things.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, do you have something you're doing? Because
Mm,
when you now bring it together, it now makes sense. So if you
mm,
know that he already has the little that is enough and he says he's ready for marriage, then you can you also do something so that if you
mm,
both get married and you do it together, you would.
mm.
Some people get married and they begin to experience a lot of increase in
Abundance.
their life. Some people get married with everything and they get married and they lose their jobs. Life happens, right? So,
Pendulum.
as if you're a believer, I would also
Mm,
say you should pray about it to say,
mm,
is this the right timing for me? Do I
mm,
have God's backing so that you can take those chances from a place of seeing a form of consistency in how he's earning the money, knowing that there's a balance to it, knowing that there's a future to it, knowing that oh he has
mm,
discussed some of the things he wants to do, knowing that you
mm,
can also partner and knowing that you also feel peace or ease in that moment, then you
mhm,
can do that. But if the person is not consistent. Today they made 50K, the next day they made 10K, the next day they say, ah, God will do this, God will do that. And they're always coming to borrow, borrow, borrow. Ah, please borrow me
mm,
1 million. There's this business I want to do. Ah,
mm,
for the past 2 months, there's nothing. Oh. Then that one now is another thing. That person
mm,
is still is unstable,
mhm,
And I
mhm,
think that you should allow the person to find the direction and the meaning of their life so that you don't make
mhm.
mistakes
Yeah,
around, things like that. So yeah, go back and define what you mean by
by
stability, check
stability.
the patterns, and
Mhm.
then see how you can also help and then make your decisions.
Wow, wow, this is so good. I while she was just talking now, I think this question is not just because initially I thought okay, it's more from the perspective of a female, but I think it is not just from the perspective of a female, but also from the male because sometimes you are in a relationship and then you are the husband who is working, you are the one that has a stable job, and maybe your wife does not have so much of a stable, job or business, and then she's always the one coming to you asking for, always having the latest business idea and you are always giving the person the money to go and do the business idea and it's also a form of stability, asking, okay, define what does stability means for me in terms of finances, and for you as my partner, how do you, maybe it goes back to that question of, okay, how do you earn, what are you doing, what can you use your hand to do, to bring income to this family. It is a very vital question. And then we might be thinking that, okay, but our parents, they didn't do that. That is the word of our parents. We're in, we're in the 21st century, and in this century everybody everybody works. Even you hardly find trophy wives anymore. The wife of Mark Zuckerberg, she's not a trophy wife. She's a core billionaire. She's a medical doctor. She's a pediatrician, and they are together. So, and that's why even in those big celebrity, couples, you see that their wife, maybe in African context, I don't know, but in the other part of the world, right, in the other saner climes, you see that both the wife and the husband, they are doing something tangible. Both of them, and you will see that both of them are. That's why they call them power couple. No, not just power couple. Okay, one is doing celebrity and just doing social life. They both of them are doing something very impactful, very very important together. And so you should ask, you should have that conversation with yourself and say, okay, you know what, as much as I am financially stable, this is what financial stability means for me, and for you, what does financial stability mean for you, and how can we work together to achieve it? Thank you so much for answering that. So a question came in because I said I would ask two more questions and then we'll make it a cut. But a question came in, and then I would ask that question. The person is saying, if a woman depend on her husband for money due to some of her financial issues, and then all of a sudden the husband of the woman stopped giving her money due to some setback from his side, what will the woman do? Go and look for your money now. Can you see
So
the
there are
question?
different things. There are different things. Let me answer this question. I have to go
Mm,
now.
mm,
It's been beautiful here, and I hope that everyone who joins the replay would find
mm,
it very exciting and
mm,
beneficial for them. Now,
mm,
if you're in this, you need to first of all understand what's your financial issue. What's the issue
mhm.
that you're currently going through?
Exactly.
Do you need to talk to a financial coach to deal with your issue? Because you cannot continue to depend on him for the rest of your life. You have to find something to do.
Yeah.
Even if you're pregnant and you're not able to work, there are side hustles you can do virtually and everything. So you need to speak to a financial coach who can help you to understand what went wrong and what needs to be done about it. Do you understand? Now, the
Mhm,
second thing is about your husband. you need to first ask yourself, aside for the setback he's experiencing, has he ever complained about anything around that money? Is he ever complaining about you always asking, or you not maximizing that money? You need to first understand if there's a reason first for that is withdrawal of the money, or it's just based on the setback. Now, to the setback itself, you what you can do at this point is to show your support, is to pray for him, is to
Mm.
encourage him, is to appreciate him for all the ones that he has done before, so that he knows
Mm.
that you are not just complaining or nagging and all of that,
Mhm.
right? So this is a time for you, ma. It's a call to action. It's a is it trigger? How do I call it? It's a time for you to step up and other than your reason, begin to say to yourself, what can I begin to do?
Mm.
What is in my hand that I can start doing? And start
Exactly.
little, start very small. I don't want you
Mm.
to remain at that point of waiting for him. If he
No.
sees that you are appreciative of what he has done, you're praying
Mm.
for him, you're encouraging him, and you're being patient, he can, and you're praying about it, God can make him look at you and say, okay, take, because you're not fighting over it. And then you begin to show signs of being a responsible person by going on to speak to Sister Buki to say, this is my issue. What do you think I can do right now? So that I
Mm.
can even be a help to my husband and not just collect alone. You understand? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because we said 6 to 7, and we've gone like 32 minutes beyond what our initial plan is. I want to thank you very much. I believe this is for me personally. It's an eye opener session, and I also hope that you also enjoyed it, for being in our midst. And then I guess the our audience, and for people that will still come, they would also enjoy it, and they would find things that would resonate with them and all of that. So Minister Nike Folagbade, like I said, she runs hubs, right? So maybe you should talk a little bit about the services you offer, so that people can know and then they can join and they can come on board with you, because I know that she runs a hub for men, and also Warrior Bride Network for women, both married and singles. So maybe you should talk a little bit about it so that people can
Okay,
come.
thank you very much. So I'm a relationship and marriage counselor. So if you need counsel, coaching, and all of that, I offer one-on-one sessions, couple sessions, package sessions where we can speak at different times. So we can always do that. I also have books. I have Thrive. I have on
Try.
both secret direct marriages. So if your marriage is currently going through some turbulent moment, I have
Hmm.
Thrive and Untold Secret for you. If you're a single person, I have Red Flags, Uncovering Red Flags, and I have Get the Ring. These books can awaken you to truth and counsel that you need to do better in your relationships. And then I
Mm-hmm.
have a ministry called Life in a Hack Ministry. It's for couples, it's for singles, it's for everybody. We grow in our work with God. We are hosting God's presence in our lives, in our marriages. We're learning about marriages, and we're recently going to be opening the men's monthly meeting, because aside
Mm-hmm.
from the general conversations we're having, I think it's right time to begin to disciple men intentionally. And so that's why we're
Mm-hmm.
starting that particular hub. If you're a woman going through difficulties in your marriage, I have Warrior Bright Network. It opens twice or three times in a year. So for you to connect with me, go to www.nikefalagbade.com on my website, or you can go over to my Instagram, Nike
Mm-hmm.
Falagbade, to just check out my page, check out my links, and you see everything. I also have free ebooks that you can download right now if you have any issue in your marriage. Just go on my website and you'll see at least 2 to 3 different books that you can download, and you'll find insight in it. Thank you so much for bringing me here. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank
Take care
you.
of yourself. Have a fantastic night rest. Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much. Guys, I've dropped her details and what's it called? Uh email sorry, website link on the chat, and also some of our books. And I would also drop her Instagram file on it as well. So it's been a very lovely time. Let me just quickly drop her Instagram, and also you can just connect with her, Nike for just look for at Nike for Lagbade, and then okay. Just give me a second. So you can just connect with her on Instagram. Please go and follow her. Go and follow her. If you want her to come next time, go and follow her. And I want to believe that you guys have all been blessed. I have been blessed. I mean, there's a lot of things that I didn't even my questions are still here. They are still freshly minted. And but some of the things all of the things she talked about, they are very important things that we need to consider in our marriages and in our relationship before going into marriage. I hope that you will use this. And what you can do for me is you can like this video, like this video, share on your platforms, on your social media platforms, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Facebook. Please share the link of this live session on Facebook. Let people see it, because don't be me, myself, and I alone. Rather, share. There is love in sharing. Share. Let other people see what you've learned and what you've gained today. Because I can tell you that people who would listen, they would also be blessed, because this is not common knowledge. What she has given us today, there are things that people have to pay for to get, but God has used that to bless us today. So thank you so much. It was really nice being on this call with you, everyone. I will see you again very soon. Another person is coming very, very soon, and the person will be talking about how to set up a business. All right. And there's a lot of other goodies coming this year. This year is going to be a very fantastic one. We are back to our live sessions. So yes, and if you want to see my other videos, please go to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, Finance with Bookie. You see a lot of videos that I've done recently. I've done a video about how to create your financial goals, the 4 questions you should be asking yourself, before you create your money goals. Don't just go and say, okay, I want to earn 10 million. How do you want to earn it? So you do that. And then I also recently I made a video about financial literacy versus financial ignorance. What are the 4 rules? I gave 4 rules on how to go about go about financial literacy, learn about money. The 4 main things. If you want to become financially free at some point in your life, you need to follow those 4 rules. If you don't follow those 4 rules, you're yet to start. Okay, so go to my YouTube channel, you'll see that video there. Please watch and also share. And yeah, and the next YouTube video coming up is about how to make money with AI. So I made a video about this. I'm going to upload that in the coming days. So watch out for it. And thank you so much, everyone, again. And I hope you would have a nice evening, have a nice weekend as well, and enjoy yourself. Until the next time, see you. Bye bye.